Hey guys. Okay, so before getting to the meat of the episode, there is a small detail to address, which is in last week's episode, a conversation between Peyote and Mohammed was cut out, and I kind of forgave it with the expectation that it would be reworked into this week's episode. But to see that it wasn't is kind of disappointing, because while a very simple conversation and scene in itself, it does show there is more of a camaraderie among Hal's group than just being a bunch of mustache twirlers looking to destroy the world. And while we still are similarly going to get a lot of individual character depth out of Hal's groups in future episodes, it is still a little bit of a drop ball. I needed to talk about because the thing is with the manga, there is good character writing in House Group, but again, going back to what I've been repeatedly saying, when you cut out the little moments, it can make just as big of an impact to the story as the larger moments. So yeah, I just thought I'd get that out there. Now, with that said, one of the out of the way, obviously the bigger thing to talk about is that it's revealed Yo has not only learned the teachings within the Tome of the Shaman, but also mastered two-stage Oversoul. And this is one of the things I like, but also dislike in comparison to the original anime, because here and in the manga, really all Yo, Ryu, and Faust had to do in order to learn the teachings of the Shaman, of the Tome of the Shaman, was to study the teachings of the book itself. Whereas in the original anime, despite all the original anime's flaws, we get to see that they had to endure much more spiritual and mental trial in order to actually learn House techniques. And if I remember correctly, and I guess in the sense of the manga and reboot, it is more realistic to do it that way. But and if I'm but it does. I think anime in some ways is a very visual medium, and you do kind of need to see like what they had to go through. And if I remember correctly, we will be getting a flashback to this. But yeah, in this particular instance, I am more with the original anime on this one. But one thing I can give credit to the reboot and the manga that I like in this episode is how under the veil of insulting Ren by saying he's not committed to he's not an Asakura and he's not committed to the Asakura's like cause of stopping how that was kind of also Anna's way of saying he's not mentally or physically prepared yet to endure what the tome of the shaman has to offer. And I do like how it is building up the idea of Ren actually needing to show he can endure the ordeal of training with the tome before actually going through with it. Whereas in the original anime, they had everyone just kind of collectively decided to go. Ultimately go through and learn the teachings of the tome of the shaman without any hesitation or any thoughts on whether or not they would die or become evil from doing so. And I think the former. I think again I do kind of like the former a little better because it does a better job at reinforcing the point that these are dark forces that can corrupt the mind and soul of both shaman and spirit alike if their will and resolve isn't strong enough. And so I do like how it is already putting like Ren on this path of like, okay, I in order to truly know what it means to wield the power of the shaman, I need to actually resolve myself and I need to resolve my strength, and I need to grow and become stronger and resolve and all that shit. So yeah, I like it in that sense. And with that said, let's talk about the other man of the hour in this episode, Faust, because following up from what I said before, this episode was obviously about Faust showing how much Yo and the others can in fact trust him to fight by their side, but also it showed just how much he himself as a person has changed, because before, when we first were introduced to Faust, he was the necromancer, the person who used and abused the corpses and bones of the dead in his desperation in order to save Eliza. And while the latter is still the case, in this episode, you can also see that on a more personal level through his actions in this fight. That's not how Faust defines himself of who he is anymore. He has, in a certain way, again, just through the actions in this fight, Faust has embraced the fact that he's a doctor first and a necromancer second, someone who has dedicated his life to helping people, and that maybe in some small way those two can go hand in hand with each other. But and again, it's shown through the simple scenes of the fact where he pretty much where he gave Frankenstein an actual physical body, and even just through the idea of pretty much of using the form of actually like using necromancy in order to regain his legs back and whatnot. So yeah, it's in those little things I think where Faust really showed how much he's changed. You can, and for especially now, and for Fausto, especially now that he does have Eliza back with him, everything you can tell that everything he's doing is his own kind of form of repentance for every past atrocity he's committed. Like he pretty much genuinely is remorseful for every cruel act he's done, and he's just trying to be a different person from the one he was now. Someone who values life over just taking control of it, which, again, is a very simple motivation for any character to have, but for someone like Faust, who's lived the life he has, the life of both a doctor and a necromancer, it works extraordinarily well with his journey. With that said, there's not really much I can say about like Team Yo's opponents, really. Like, honestly, in some respects, I could say these guys were treated slightly better in the original anime, because here they're just straight up arrogant, cocky assholes who are really just fodder to show how powerful Yo's team has become, and let's be real, we really just want to see these guys get their asses beat. So yeah, it's like I'm not gonna weep or shed tears when that does happen. Although one interesting thing, I guess, to take note of is that after Yo had unleashed his dual oversoul, Hao did remark on how desperate the Asakura family is to stop him if they gave Yo one of their most prized historical relics. So, well, in the form of the in the form of the sword of the god, or whatever it was called. So, while it is a show of strength from Yo's perspective, it's exposing just how scared the Asakura family is actually has become of Hao in this moment. So yeah, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got. But yeah, guys, overall, a very good episode, honestly, this week. I honestly, the episodes are getting better and better. Honestly, there's just some small little things here and there I think are still kind of becoming a little bit of a problem in one way or another. But yeah, guys, that's really all I've got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, Analyst, Crunchyroll, and be sure to hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.